Hello, Leo. So before we begin your reading, I have two cards for you here, and what you pulled here is a little difficult. So from Le Vampire, you pulled Sacrifice, Renunciation, Offering, and Letting Go. And I'm going to read the blessing with this card so you can kind of understand what's going on here. So the blessing says, your compassion, heart, and empathy will grow as a result of the sacrifice you are now being asked to make, not by another, but by your own soul. You are strong enough to do this, but you have never known for sure because you have never put yourself to the test. Now you will, and you will see just how strong you truly are. Something needs to be given up here, because when you look at that with complacency from Chakra Wisdom, it's saying the same thing about not knowing how strong you truly are because you haven't let anything go. So when you look at complacency from Chakra Wisdom, some of the key ideas here are leaving dreams unrealized, holding back, lack of motivation, feeling depleted. And the inspiration here is this is a warning not to give up. Beware of coasting along in a situation that is not what you really want. You will never be fulfilled by the unmet dreams of others. So, looking at the two, clearly something here needs to be given up so that you can get out of this feeling of complacency. Here's the energy coming through. The Page of Cups. This to me is the messenger of love, creativity, imagination, strengthening a bond that you may have with somebody. You're getting messages through right now that have to do with your emotions. So we shall see what this page is trying to tell you right now. Now, on the other side of this could represent somebody who is maybe emotionally naive, and this can represent a water sign coming through. I don't know why, I just feel like I need to mention that there. But the pages are usually messengers. Okay. In the past, the Lovers. Here we go. So the Lovers has to do with the loving connection with you and another person. This is about putting love first in your life. This also represents the duality. Now, seeing that with the Page of Cups, to me, this is suggesting that, yeah, you have some messages coming through that have to do with love in your life. And I worry here with, sacrifice and complacency. Like maybe, you need to sacrifice something there so that you can get out of that feeling, so that you can experience the Lovers. Oh, the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Five of Pentacles is about poverty, loss, feeling like you're being left out in the cold, but it's more about the fear of losing than it is actually losing anything. But, looking at these, to me, it would suggest that you may have been left out when it comes to, this loving connection here. And, I still have to wonder here if this page isn't, is he sending you messages of, hey, revitalizing a loving union? Or, is this some emotional manipulation going on? Future conditions. The Eight of Swords. Looking at this, to me, we still have a ways to go here with this reading, but what I'm feeling like here is like the Lovers coming through is this feeling that you're carrying, having to do with this connection with another person. The Five of Pentacles, this person may have made you feel like left out. And then with the Eight of Swords, if you're getting messages coming through to re-strengthen a bond, the Eight of Swords is saying that there's a fear there. So the Eight of Swords is like the unwillingness to walk your path because you're afraid of pain. It's staying stuck in a situation because you don't want to feel any more pain. Complacent. And I always say the same thing with the Eight of Swords. Take the blindfold off. Walk your path. Deal with the pain as it comes, because staying stuck where you're at right now is clearly no good for you. And looking at it, to me, it's like maybe, you're getting messages from a love in the past because of the position of the Lovers. And maybe this person made you feel like left out and now you're afraid. Oh, the best path to follow, the moon. The moon is all about tapping into your intuition. Seeing that as the best path to follow, to me, is saying Don't get confused. The moon is about confusion blocking your intuition. This is the card of illusions. And when you look at that next to the Eight of Swords, it's like saying to you that, you need to be careful about what illusions you get caught up in here, because your best path to follow is to tap into your intuition. What is your gut telling you? Pay attention to your dreams. What are your dreams telling you? This is where the conscious mind is not doing you any favors. But be careful about allowing yourself to get caught up in illusions here, because, again, it's like, and looking at the two, it's like Pisces, maybe. But the moon is definitely saying that there's some confusion going on right now, and it makes sense with that Eight of Swords there and the Five of Pentacles, and it has to do with a relationship, with the lovers being there, yes. And it's like, again, with that page, it's almost like the messages that he's bringing through are confusing you right now. And it's bringing up, like, this feeling of fear. Oh, yeah. So in your environment right now, the Knight of Cups is the messenger of love and romance. And you've got it doubled here. You have strong messages coming through. But when I look at the Knight of Cups, now seeing these two, this could be a water sign. Now, with the Knight of Cups, he's offering this love and this romance. And he's like sending that page to you going, hey, but a part of you is looking at it going, I don't know. I don't know about all that right now. But it being in your environment suggests that there are messages coming through regarding love and romance. And look at, oh, your hopes and your fears, the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is all about celebration. You're hoping, yeah, wow, Leo, wow, what is going on here? So I feel like the sacrifice that needs to be made here is these feelings here. It's like there's this fear. There's this fear of experiencing this like love and this romance and, this emotional fulfillment with another person. Like, I don't want to be left out, man. I don't know if I want to do that, but you're staying complacent in that because you're confused, which is understandable. Now, with the Three of Cups being in your hopes and your fears, to me, that is suggesting that you are wanting to celebrate this union. The Three of Cups, again, is celebration, but to me, it also suggests like a support group, like a support group of people around you. And when you look at that with the Five of Pentacles, now, when you look at the image for the Five of Pentacles, there's two people. There's two people that look destitute, that are walking away from the church. Now, the reminder here is that you are not the only one, and you are not alone. So I feel like you have a support group around you that, you're like hoping to celebrate with. But man, there's some things that need to be dealt with here, because clearly you're getting some loving messages coming through. Oh, and there it is. There it is. Yes, I feel like for some of you, this heavy presence of water. This person has some water in their chart for sure. Now, the King of Cups again represents a water sign. The King of Cups is different than the Queen because he's emotionally wise, very open, very loving, and very supportive. But yeah, that King right there is sending you some messages. I feel like some of you have an opportunity here to have a loving connection with another person. And there it is. There it is. But you need to make a sacrifice here. Why is it that you're feeling these feelings of being left out? And why is it creating this fear? And where is this confusion coming from? There's something here that needs to be let go of so that you're not stuck in this like complacency where you're just not realizing your dreams. And it's funny when you look at this with the last reading that you had. One of the things that I preach about a lot when it comes to tarot is that nothing is ever set in stone. We have free will. And in the last reading, it felt like there was somebody that, you were wanting to go after. And it's like now the feeling's being returned. And again, with the Lovers being in the past coming through, you know, it could suggest a relationship from the past, somebody from the past. But this person is definitely sending you some loving messages here. But, you know, with the Moon being the best path to follow, it's like, you know, this is a tricky situation here because of what's going on here. So you have to look at, you know, first of all, is this really something that you want? Because if it is, there's definitely a need to let go of the things that are blocking you right now from receiving these messages. Like this person is like, hey, hello, I'm here. But you're in a situation now where you're just like stuck. You're stuck and you feel like you're not being allowed to realize your dreams right now. So, you know, and again, be careful about getting caught up in illusions. What is it that your intuition is telling you about what's going on here? Because clearly there's some things that need to be let go of. Okay, Rio. So I had to go back and look at your last reading, and the connection between the two is like, wow. So let's jump into this. I feel like a person is like really sending you some strong messages right now regarding love and romance. And then you have the Lovers as the past coming through. Now this could suggest that this person is somebody from the past that you may have had a relationship with. And it's like now they're returning that feeling to you. And they're sending strong messages of, hey, I'm here and wanting love. Now, there is a part of you, though, that is fearful of this, and you may be confused. But again, the Moon is saying, don't get caught up in illusions. Pay attention to what your intuition is saying about this. This might be a tricky situation here. It's like you're fearing it because there's this feeling of loss that may happen. Now, with sacrifice, I feel like if you're wanting to experience this with this person, there's a need to get yourself out of this feeling of complacency where you're like stuck. Now, with sacrifice too, you know, this could have to do with letting go of this fear and this fear of losing. Whatever the situation is here, you definitely have some strong messages of love coming through to you. But you are in a position right now where you are stuck in a situation where you're afraid to move forward, and it may have to do with fear of loss, but it could also have to do with fear of this potential relationship here. Now, if you're with somebody right now, I feel like, you know, this person could be making amends for the feelings that you're carrying around here, and sacrifice is saying that you need to let that go so that you can strengthen that bond. Either way, there is somebody that is sending you some really strong messages of love and romance. And right now you need to look at what it is that you need to let go of so that you can get yourself out of this feeling of complacency, so that you can experience this love in your life. But also here there's a question about getting caught up in illusions and needing to pay attention to your intuition involving this situation.